to this fall series of healing conversations. I'm Loren Gailey, and I'm so happy you could join us. These healing conversations will inspire, uplift, and empower your life. Listen in to the 24 great speakers this season. For MP3s and transcripts, please visit acoustichealth.com and click on Radio Show. You can also help spread the word on this radio show with all this wonderful information that you won't find in mainstream media by sharing this with your friends and loved ones. Be sure to share this webpage with them. The speakers that are gathering for this series of healing conversations will expand your consciousness and open your heart. Sit back and journey with us in this healing conversation. Today, we are talking about angels and how we can become aware of them and how they can give us information about our life. My guest today is Susan Gemini, Angel in Hawaii, and Susan is helping people awaken to their ability all over the planet. Welcome, Susan. Thank you for joining us on Healing Conversations.
Thank you. Aloha to everybody.
Aloha. So when we are talking about angels, let's first talk about how you became aware of your own abilities. Was it over the course of your entire life, or was there a specific incident?
As a child, I definitely remember a presence always around me, whether it was one or more. Not quite sure if I knew exactly what the presence were, but always knew that I knew of it, if that makes any sense. It was like a comfortable feeling. I was abused as a child, and I did feel like I was being protected by an energy, whether or not I was conscious of knowing that. That's kind of when it always came in, is when I was being abused. I felt it more intensely. And then by the time I turned about 12, 13 years old, I started doing things that would help numb me, whether that was cough medicine or cigarettes or starting to use alcohol and drugs. And I pretty much numbed myself until I had a baby at 26 years old, and I cleaned my lifestyle up intensively. She was my angel. All of a sudden, I wanted to live for something. I felt love for the first time. And raising her with this love, all of a sudden, one day, I started to see things completely different. I started seeing trees and stones and mountains breathing as if they were human and talking to me. And I thought that was kind of natural and normal. I was studying Buddhism at the time, and I understood that everything had a spirit. I was living in Santa Fe, New Mexico at the time, which was a very metaphysical town. So those things were quite natural, especially with the Native American era, knowing that Mother Earth was spirit. But then I started to see in one day beings, ethereal beings with these wings, and I'm going to be really honest, it scared me. That's when I thought I might be losing it, that I might be going crazy. I raised my daughter and myself here in Santa Fe, New Mexico, completely organic lifestyles. I mean, I didn't even take aspirin. There was no drugs involved at that time in my life. I had been clean and sober since I gave birth to my daughter and decided to take a new life on. And when I started to see these angels from, the fourth dimension, it actually scared me. I thought maybe I was losing it. Through listening to them and trusting them, I learned that it was very normal and natural to be able to see in the fourth dimensional world, more natural and normal than people think. And it's actually harder to shut that off than it is to naturally be in your intuitive state. That's why I'm always teaching people, the more that you can go into your natural in-tune state, which is recognizing what is real in this world and what is not. For the physical realness, it would be anything to do with Mother Gaia, anything to do with how the indigenous people lived, very grounded, very in touch with the spirit that is around us at all times, eating in the light, which is anything that comes from Mother Gaia, it comes from Earth, and just staying in as much sunlight and moonlight and stars and natural things as you can. You are really going to be able to be in your higher self. You're going to hear messages come very easily. And the thing that I try to tell people is, you'll know when you've contacted and gotten in touch with your guardian angels, which we all have tons of guardian angels. I always think it's funny when people ask me, what is my guardian angel's name? And it's like, you mean all of them? All of your guardian angels? Because you have more than one. I one time saw for a client that if you've ever seen either in real life or on a TV show, what it's like when the stockbrokers all wake up and they're all doing their job and it's crazy and hectic and the phones are ringing and they're all screaming at each other.
Yes.
That is what it's like for one individual. So what that means, Rain, is that you've got that much help and 10 times more that are constantly trying to help you achieve your goals and your life purpose here. So we have a lot of help, and I always tell people, you'll know when you've contacted your guardian angels because you will actually start to fight with them. Think about the people who love you the most, and they're always trying to push you because they know you're best. They know who you truly are. They know what you can accomplish. When you really get in touch with your guardian angels, they're going to push your buttons because they're going to push you in the direction of your life purpose. And normally, when we're using our gifts and we're walking in our light, it's going to be fearful because you're going to have to believe in yourself, you're going to have to trust in yourself, and you're going to have faith. And those are not easy things to have 24/7.
Let's go back to the ethereal beings that you saw then. The time that when you thought you were going crazy, here you had cleaned up your life and you had purified yourself. Is it just what's happening here during this time, this great shift of the ages, that more and more people will know that they can communicate with their angels?
Absolutely. Absolutely, because almost every student that comes to my workshops to get certified for learning how to work with the angels through healings and intuitive work, they all come and say, this is happening, I don't know why, I don't know how. So many people now are having this experience. I was clean for 10 years, so I knew that I wasn't going crazy, but it is scary, and that's something that I think people should know, because I think people think when you see an angel from the other side, or even a spirit guide, that it's the most comforting thing, and it can make you question yourself. The really cool thing is my guardian angels told me to go to the bookstore. They didn't tell me why or what was going to happen at the bookstore. They just said, we need you to go to the bookstore. And I walked up to a shelf, and the shelf was not anything on metaphysics. It wasn't anything on angels, and it was just the special books that were sitting out on a shelf. And there was a book called I think it was called Divine Interventions or something like that. And I picked the book up, and it was actually by Doreen Virtue. It was her very first book that she wrote from going into this work, because she was a therapist. She had her PhD and was working as a doctor. This book talked about how she was in the medical field, and all of a sudden one day started to see angels, thought she was going crazy. Mm. She worked with women who had molestation happen to them and who also had eating disorders, which was what I struggled with my whole life, was molestation and eating disorders and drugs and alcohol. And here, this is the woman that she helped, and that she had one day started seeing angels and then thought she was going crazy. So you can imagine this book, what it had done for me. And it was like, wow, there's somebody else out in the world that, sees these things and thought she was going crazy. And ever since then, I just gave full surrender to these energies, and they have steered me in a direction that I would have never thought possible for myself. And I do know my life purpose now. My life purpose is always being a student. I don't believe there are any teachers here on earth except for maybe Christ when he walked the earth, and Buddha. But otherwise, we are all students. I'm learning just the same as everybody else. But I do believe my life purpose is awakening people to, it's all around you. These energies are all around, and they need us. We are their conduits, meaning they have the energy, but they need something to anchor it into. So there's all these healing energies that are in this fourth dimension, but without us, the humans, they are not able to anchor it in, not even for Mother Earth. So that's why it's so important, if you're wanting to become a light worker or an energy healer in any way, you are worthy. You are absolutely worthy, and you're not crazy for thinking that you could do that or that you can't do that. They need you. The they, meaning God and these higher energies, need us. We're all worthy of bringing through this energy because they're not able to bring it through without us. We are the anchors for it.
You've put that in a really good perspective, and it explains the healing arts and where that is coming from and how there's so much of that now here on the planet. So it's wonderful that you're helping people really be able to be those anchors for this. I like how you said that you fully surrendered to the energies. Now, that may need some explanation for others, and also, how do you listen like you were able to hear?
Well, I am a natural at pretty much all the clairs, being clairvoyant, which is seen with your intuitive eye, your third eye. Clairaudience for me is very easy. That's hearing. Claircognizance is a knowing. It's almost like being downloaded, like a computer downloads. And for people who, I'll give you some of the senses that come with these clairs. If you're a claircognizant person, which is the knowing, you're going to have some ringing in your ear. People who are writers are definitely claircognizant because they all of a sudden just pick up a pen and paper and they just all of a sudden have all this information to write. And that's coming through like a computer, like it's been downloaded into them. Clairaudience, there's a ton of ways to be clairaudient, and everybody has a strong clair, everybody. And most of the time you have two strong clairs. You'll know if you're clairaudient because you'll hear. It's an inside your brain. If you were to count to 1 to 10 inside your mind, that would be how you would hear clairaudiently. It would be something that you're going to hear in your mind. It can either come in your voice or it could come in an actual different voice, something outside of your mind. They will also do things with to try to give you messages through songs, through letters, through magazines, TV, whatever you're doing, they're going to try to give you signs and messages through those. If you're clairsentient, which the majority of women especially in this world, because we're so close to Mother Earth with that female energy, being clairsentient is having, being very sensitive to your emotions. And not only are you women being very sensitive to emotions in that psychic sense, but we have to remember, we're also very connected to Mother Earth. So whatever Mother Earth is going through, we're going to be going through. Like when the tsunami happened, I was very depressed for a year, and I felt sick. I felt like I was dying. I kept thinking, what is wrong with me? What is wrong with me? And then you have to remember, we came from Mother Earth, and we are going to be sensing whatever is going on also with her, like animals do. So the majority of women, especially on this earth right now, walking around, are very, very sensitive. And they don't know it. They think they're either too emotional, and a lot of people are taking drugs to numb that, when you should be listening to that. That's all your intuitive messages coming through to try to help you move in a path that's going to be healthier. And then we have I did clairaudience, clairsentient, claircognizance, and then we had the clairvoyance, which is the third eye, seeing movies in your mind or pictures in your mind or receiving messages in that third eye.
So just paying attention to those little signs as well. What about synchronicity?
I think the easiest way, and I try to teach my students this, which is really hard for them, the more that you pull back from material and delusion stuff in life, the more you pull back from news, TV, work, what you think needs to be done, laundry, this and that, and you pull back from that stuff, you're going to start to become more in tune. When you become more in tune, that is your intuitiveness. And that's really hard for people. We're so immune to first thing getting up and getting on the or making phone calls or watching the news or thinking about work. And I try to tell people, you've probably done work so long now that you could probably go there without even thinking anymore. So why not? Why not take your energy and just go do those things that you have to do to rent because you don't trust that you'll be okay without that job. But take your energy out of that now and start putting your energy into you, into your spirit. So if you got to go to work, but don't put all your energy to where you get home and now you have no energy for your spirit. Because you've got to take the time now to get out in nature, to do something physically with your body. That's why anything like Qigong or Tai Chi or yoga or running or any type of sport out in nature is going to get you more in tune. And you have to have the energy to start doing these things.
For the entire conversation, visit acoustichealth.com and click on Radio Show and register for the 24-show series of healing conversations. I now leave you with music from the universe, literally created by the universe, as musical composer Phil Windsor assigned musical notes to mathematical equations, and the result is this beautiful music. Visit acoustichealth.com.